One day in November, I thought, what if I use YouTube community polls to see what my community thinks of every single Mario Kart track in Mario Kart, not just Nitros but Retros as well. So I started out on a quest to post and schedule a poll asking my community best track in blank cup. So it looks like I'm just asking what your favorite track is out of the ones shown, while in actuality I was gathering all the data and creating a tournament behind the scenes. Though some of you may have already figured it out. So after 5 months, here are the results. Really quickly, I have to explain some stuff about how the tracks were named in the poll. If a track doesn't have a game prefix, it's a Nitro original to whatever game it's from. If it does but it's in parentheses, that means it's a Nitro from whatever game it's from, but there's also more than one track with that name, so it has to differentiate from the other tracks. If a track does have a prefix with no parentheses, it's a retro track from whatever game the retro is from. If it does have a prefix with no parentheses, but it has another prefix in parentheses at the end, that means there are more than one retro iteration of the track, so there has to be differentiation. Okay, that's out of the way. Another thing really quick as well. The way I would keep track of if each track was better than another in a different cup would be on how much percentage of the vote it went to that track. So for example, on 3DS Rainbow Road, it got 83% of the vote, but Shy Bazaar got 84%, meaning Shy Bazaar was scientifically better than 3DS Rainbow Road. I would also do a bracket type thing where tracks with higher percentages would be seeded higher than ones with lower percentages. So we'll also have several rounds. To make it to the next round, you would need to be the top track in your poll. However, you could also get second place if you got at least 25% of the vote. Time before I put in the results used to be like 2 weeks, then it became 1, then it became 3 days, so keep that in mind. Now rinse and repeat for every single poll and we get to see some results. So all of these tracks were eliminated. I'm not going to say all of them because like 150 of them got out. Most of these weren't enough to write home about. Most of them were your basic circuits and just terrible tracks, but some really good ones were in there like GCN Bowser's Castle, Dry Ruins, the 2 retro remakes of GCN Daisy Cruiser, and GBA Ribbon Road. There were 99 tracks that qualified for the next round, being all these tracks. I'm not going to go through them again because you'll most likely see them again later. However, for the next round, I needed a number of tracks that was divisible by 4, so I did some redemption polls. Redemption polls is where tracks that were eliminated could get a second chance if they had a high percentages in relation to the eliminated tracks. Any track that got like 24 to 20% had a high chance of being inside of a redemption poll. Redemption rounds only have 1 day before I don't count them anymore, and it's winner take all, no second place wins. There were 5 slots open for redemption rounds to make the amount of tracks in the next round 104. So the tracks that would be in the redemption round were Tour Sydney Sprint, Dry Desert, Toad's Turnpike, the Wii U version of SNES Rainbow Road, GCN Yoshi Circuit, GBA Blue Lake, Bowser's Castle 2, Tick-Tock Lock, the tour version of GBA Luigi Circuit, Toad Harbor, Piranha Plant Cove, GBA Ribbon Road, Electrodome, GBA Cheese Lane, DK Jungle Parkway, and Yoshi Valley. The winners were Tick-Tock Lock, Piranha Plant Cove, Tour Sydney Sprint, Electrodome, and SNES Bowser Castle 3. In round 2, the rules would change a little. In the first round, the seed would be random if you tied with another track that had the same percentage. But here, if 2 tracks had the same percentage, the one with the higher percentage in the first round would be seeded first. This rule will continue on. Just in a tie, it will be based on the percentage from the round before. The percentage to get a second place spot would be 27%, making it a little harder to get into the next round. Here are all the tracks that got eliminated. I'm not going to say all of them because I will say the name of the 32 tracks that will move on, but I'll name some tough losses. We lost Wii U's Bowser Castle, the original Sunset Wilds, Daisy Cruiser, Piranha Plant Pipeline, Delfino Square, DS Luigi's Mansion, both the DK Summits, Maku Woohoo, Wario Coliseum, Koopa Cave, Sky Garden, Baby Blue, Waluigi Pinball, Woohoo Loop, Yoshi's Island, Music Park, and somewhat ironically, the highest performing track in the first round, Shy Bazaar, was eliminated in the second round. Now, here's all the tracks that made the cut. Hyrule Circuit, N64 Rainbow Road, GCN DK Mountain from Wii, Shy Falls, GBA Bowser's Castle 4, Wii Coconut Mall from 8 Deluxe, SNES Bowser Castle 3, GBA Sky Garden from DS, DS Delfino Square, Coconut Mall, Mushroom Gorge, Ninja Hideaway, GCN Waluigi Stadium, and DK Mountain from 8 Deluxe, Wii Maple Treeway from 7, Toad's Factory, Tour Singapore Speedway, Speedy Clean Sprint, the original 3DS Rainbow Road, 3DS Music Park, Maple Treeway, 3DS Rainbow Road, Wii Coconut Mall from 7, Airship Fortress, Wii Rainbow Road, DS Waluigi Pinball, and Airship Fortress from 7, Wii Maple Treeway, and DS Waluigi Pinball from 8 Deluxe, the original Wii Rainbow Road, Mount Wario, and finally Waluigi Stadium. The second round didn't need a redemption round because 32 tracks made the cut, which is divisible by 4, so it's on to round 3. This is where it became hard to choose a favorite. Once all the bad tracks were eliminated in the first round and filtered out in the second, all you had left was amazing track after amazing track. So it became hard to choose a favorite. It left to some pretty big losses like all of these tracks. Like, look at this. Wii Coconut Mall from 7, N64 Rainbow Road, GC and DK Mountain from Wii, and Waluigi Stadium from 8 Deluxe, DS Waluigi Pinball from 7, 3DS Music Park, the original Coconut Mall, and Toad's Factory. The tracks that did make it out alive were the original Airship Fortress, Squeaky Clean Sprint, Maple Treeway, Mount Wario, DS Airship Fortress from 7, the original Wii Rainbow Road, and 3DS Rainbow Road, then their remakes from 8 Deluxe. Since there were 9 courses that made the cut, thankfully we could have a redemption round. The tracks that were in it were Toad's Factory, Ninja Hideaway, Coconut Mall, GC and DK Mountain from 8 Deluxe, DS Waluigi Pinball from 8 Deluxe, Wii Maple Treeway from 7, 3DS Music Park, SNES Bowser Castle 3, Waluigi Stadium, Wii Maple Treeway from 8 Deluxe, DS Waluigi Pinball from 7, and GC and Waluigi Stadium from 8 Deluxe. The ones that would move on from the redemption round were Ninja Hideaway, DS Waluigi Pinball from 8 Deluxe, and Wii Maple Treeway from 8 Deluxe. Now we are in the semifinals with these 9 courses eliminated, with only Wii Coconut Mall, the original 3DS Rainbow Road, and its remake. Since only 3 courses had won, there was room for one more redemption round between Squeaky Clean Sprint, DS Airship Fortress, Maple Treeway, and Mount Wario, and it was a somewhat close race. The winner was Squeaky Clean Sprint, however. Also held a poll between the 4 tracks that got 0% of the vote in the first round. This battle for not being the worst track in Mario Kart history was between SNES Donut Plains 1 from DS, the original GCN Sherbet Land, Desert Hills, and Vanilla Lake 1, and it is with great honor that I present to you the worst track in all of Mario Kart history according to my community, with a whopping 75% of the vote going to this track, is Vanilla Lake 1. Congratulations for being the worst track in Mario Kart history. Now that we know that, let's continue with the tracks that are actually good. Here we are, after 4 months. This is it, the final poll between Wii Rainbow Road, which has just dominated every single poll it has been in, with 70s across the board in all 4 polls. The original version of 3DS Rainbow Road, which destroyed its first round with 83%, one of the highest scores from that round, but fumbled a little in the second round by dropping down to 59, but picked itself back up to a solid 63% the last 2 polls. The 8 Deluxe remake of 3DS Rainbow Road, which made it to the 5th seed in the first round at a 80% approval, but like the original, fumbled to 59%, but picked back up to 64 and ended off on a 60. Finally, but not least, was Squeaky Clean Sprint, a track that only got high 40s and low 50s, and only got here thanks to a redemption. But could this tour track pull the upset against 3 Rainbow Roads? Well, I guess we have to find out. Before I reveal the winner, however, I just want to thank everyone who participated in the polls. This video wouldn't be able to exist if it wasn't for people like you, and your vote mattered in every single one you voted on. It's been pretty fun putting this all together, and honestly, as nerdy as it sounds, it's been a little fun putting in all the percentages for each course. Even if the way I set it up was a little unfair in some ways, it was you, yes you, who got us into the Final 4. Now, the track that my community 100% scientifically and factually chose as the best track in all of Mario Kart history, outside of most of the tour and all of the arcade tracks, as it persisted through 5 rounds of voting to get to this coveted spot as my community's #1 track in the entire series is Wii Rainbow Road. Congratulations to Wii Rainbow Road for winning this coveted title. Here's the final ranking of every single course. I just want to say again, thank you if you voted on any of the polls. Also want to know, what was your favorite course and what round did it get to? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, you can suggest some other games or something I can do this on. Well, I think that wraps up this video. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the Netherite Blox Squad. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.